Okay, my name is Burmaz. If you don't already know, I'm director of Tresić, the small archaeological enterprise. In these 15 minutes, I will present a conference paper, How Photogrammetry Became Usual Practice in Field Archaeology, written by my colleague Tresić, and myself. Tresić is a small enterprise engaged in archaeological research, excavation, and documentation. And the company has been operating for 20 years. And during this period, the members have always tried to follow and apply technical innovations in the field of archaeology in order to be faster, more precise, and accurate in field documentation. The authors in this presentation provide an overview from the period of analog documentation techniques to the application of photogrammetry on archaeological excavation through their own experience. Something like that. As the witnesses of transition from analog to digital, the authors question the benefits of digital transformation it brought in field archaeology. What kind of advantages there are, what kind of disadvantages we have through this process of digitalization. We should say something about photography because it is on the topic. Photogrammetry is a technique of measuring from photograph. The process involves taking photographs on an object from multiple angles to create a 3D object picture of reality. Today, 3D data acquisition modeling technologies are widely used in heritage scientists, but in this paper, we are not dealing with all possibilities or high-end achievements of photogrammetry usage, but in archaeological science, but from perspective and experience of an archaeological enterprise with focus on the excavation. What we would like to say in this process. The most prominent traditional visual techniques used for recording of archaeological sites are drawing and photography. While both methods provide visual record, drawing is by definition and interpretation. While photography is more objective representation of reality, it is less interpretative. Can be interpreted, but it is less interpreted, but it's objective. But photogrammetrically generated representation as a part of modern archaeological field documentation is also more objective representation of reality and less interpretive. Apart from the visual, photogrammetry also contains a record of measurements. Photogrammetric representation cannot replace the interpretive value of an archaeological sketch or drawing document. Here we would show the process from the era, from transformation from analog era to digital era. So the drawing is an essential element of archaeological field documentation. Traditionally, the sections and plans were drawn on the site during excavation by pen, paper, with the use of tape measure at level for measuring elevation data. Although every archaeologist was capable of producing and drawing or sketch or something, larger excavation drawings were usually created by specialist technicians who spent years refining their drawing skills. Here is different between now automatically produced, generated from 3D models. The major issue which led to abandonment of paper on-site drawing was the time-consuming process itself. But this slow process, on the other hand, enabled close observation of archaeological record, enabled the discussion of problems, and enabled essential transfer of knowledge. the time. Photography has been used in archaeology almost since its beginnings. Analog photography more than digital requires specific knowledge and skills. So often a professional photographer was in charge of taking, developing, and archiving photographs during excavation. Drawing is by definition an interpretation, while photography as a medium is objective, but one individual still decides what and how to photograph. So as a matter of speaking, photography should also not be considered like 100% objective. What I want to say here is that only what is observed can be recorded. And here I will like say one sentence about that photography methods of photogrammetry methods during the analog era were mostly stereo photogrammetry and were mainly used in the scope of aerial photography for documenting architectural, cultural heritage sites. Now we should do something about the digital era, and I divide this photogrammetry before unmanned aerial vehicles and cultural promotion method. So the adoption of the digital technologies in archaeology has been gradual and it is still not complete. Digital era starts with the development and implementation of digital point-and-shoot camera, measuring instruments and computer hardware and software. One of the reasons, if not the main reason for implementation of digital technologies was to reduce time spent in the field and at the same time try to maintain and improve the accuracy or precision of documentation. With the advent of digital photography, it was possible to instantly review the quality of captured photographs and even more important, to capture and store almost unlimited number of photographs. On site, drawing on paper was replaced by drawing using a total station, differential GNSS, and with the later finalization plans on situation on CAD solutions, like AutoCAD or something. The first widespread use of digital photogrammetric techniques in archaeological field recording were usage of photogrammetric single image technique for correction of image distortion. Recording process was based on several types of platforms for stereo digital photography, which you can see several of them here. All these platforms like aesthetics, balloons, leathers. In that period, I think we, in our practice, we use mainly the total station. It was like 20 years before or something like that. In that time, the GNSS or GPS that they cover not so much precise, or they were also expensive. Yeah? But we are talking about practice which have to be cost effective. This slide shows the results of photogrammetric single image techniques. This is geometrically recorded photography. After that, you can make one orthophoto mosaic. This one is made by around 200 photos or something. It's very hard working process in that time. And here is archaeological drawing, which is derived from this single image processing. And digital era today, the digital photogrammetry techniques have been developed to the point that anyone with extremely cheap equipment And without any special or expert level of knowledge about photography, geodesies, and photogrammetry can create detailed and precise 3D models. What several years ago was painstaking manual process of creating orthophoto mosaic by manual rectification of one by one vertical photograph today can be done much more faster with greater precision and accuracy by using structure from motion photogrammetric technique. Photographic data acquisition was also facilitated by advent of drones, which completely replaced camera platforms like balloons and statives and everything. Drones are totally user-friendly now. Guidance and drone, there's some pictures of our homemade drones in last 10 or 12 years, I don't know how much, but they are grounded. That means that they maybe never fly. Yeah. It was very expensive production when you manufactured by own by buying parts, and it was very awful. These slides show the 3D models generated from images using structure from motion techniques. First illustrates position from which the photos were taken. Second is generated 3D model, and third is orthophoto derived from 3D model. It's a little bit strange situation here because we use the 3D model to make. We use 2D picture. We use picture to make 3D model, and then we use 3D model to make again 2D picture. Then we draw the sketch over the photo. So, in order to analyze and transfer 3D information, we still use 2D representation. This is still complex workflow, and it feels like full potential of digital photogrammetry is not yet fully utilized. So here I show several examples that interpretation point is this sketch. That is what archaeologists just put the sketch. It does not have to be on the paper like this. It can be done by some kind of gadget or device, but it's same. And you have to draw. You have to interpret, because the models are not, the results of photogrammetry are not interpreted. So. The final product of this structure from motion workflow is again archaeological drawing, which have interpretation. Photogrammetry has been incorporated into excavation routines. Capturing of visual data today is much easier than ever before. A large amount of data can be collected and processed very quickly, and at the same time with great accuracy and precision. That is also a cost-effective process. No one can convince us that it's not the case. But does the exponential growth of recorded data really have the same response to the quality of understanding what we are excavating? There is nothing wrong with modern technological tools, but problem can arise only when we take the new technology as substitute for necessary detailed archaeological observation. Only what is observed can be recorded. This process should not be taken lightly, especially since archaeological excavation are an unrepeatable scientific experiment.